Hey everyone, my name is Connor Curran, and today on the Courage Chronicles, I'm really excited. We're talking to Mitch Jacobsen, the man himself behind Rviita Energy Team. We're gonna talk about how he stands out in a crowded market. Let's get into it. Hi there, my name is Connor Curran. I'm one of the co-owners of Local Laundry. We are Canada's most caring clothing company. Today, I'm here to talk to you about the Courage Chronicles, a show where I'm gonna be interviewing other people from Calgary and learn about their expertise and how they build community. So come follow me as we learn about their area of expertise and how they build community. Okay, really excited. Thanks so much for coming all the way down here, Mitch. Really pumped to talk to you. I obviously am a big fan of Rviita. I crush this stuff. I call it my vitamin R.
Your vitamin R, that's right, man.
I love it. It's delicious. But tell me, I want to know, share with us your personal journey, how you became a connoisseur in the field of energy teas.
Well, thank you so much, Connor. It's an absolute honor to be here, man. I really appreciate all you've done for us. And it's a crazy story. It's kind of surreal that I'm running an energy tea business because I'm a petroleum engineer by trade. I was working in a completely different industry. No one in my family line has even worked at a grocery store, let alone started a CPG business. So how I got into this is when I was in my early 20s, my best friend at the time, this guy loved energy drinks, probably too much. I was out with him one night, he'd had 5 or 6, I'll never forget. He goes ghost white, clutches the left side of his chest, nearly passes out. I rush him to the hospital and I'm waiting in this little room for the doctor. And I'll never forget, the doctor walks in, he says, your friend, he's gonna be okay, but he had a heart attack that we think was attributed to energy drinks. And so this ended up being the light bulb moment for me years later is what the heck is in these energy drinks and is there a healthy alternative? I looked everywhere on the market for a healthy alternative and could not find it. Something with all natural ingredients, didn't have, boatloads of sugar, and wasn't carbonated. I wanted something that was still, was a little easier to drink as an athlete before working out. Could not find that anywhere. So I had this crazy idea one day, hey, maybe I could do it. And everything that you see today, we're in about 1,200 retail stores across Canada, have our own production line. And it started with a Google search, how do I start a beverage company? And that was step one and just took it from there.
Oh, I love it. I love it. I mean, it's very similar to how I started. Just the first thing, you have this idea, pop into Google, how to start a beverage company. But for me, with clothing, it's easy. I mean, drop shipping, print on demand, Shopify, $50, hipsterlogogenerator.com, you're done. I imagine it's a little different for a beverage. How do you go from the Google search to where you are now?
Yeah, well, it's certainly not easy starting a clothing company, but yeah, it's very similar with beverages. So when I started that Google search, kind of the first thing I said is start messing around in your kitchen. Figure out what you want. So that's step one, is kind of figure out what do you think the drink would look like? What kind of ingredients would you want to use? And then step two, I didn't even know this existed, but there's this profession called a food scientist.
Yeah.
Didn't know it existed, but I found it in a Google search and started cold calling these food scientists. And I would say, hey, my name's Mitch. They would ask me these questions I didn't know the answer to, but I would tell them, this is what I'm trying to build. Can you help me? And I got a bunch of quotes that were for $20,000, $30,000, $40,000. I couldn't afford it at the time. Finally found one in Vancouver that was more reasonably priced. And that was kind of step two, probably similar to drop shipping with a clothing business, is they help make the product for you. They make it in a lab and then they send it to you and you test it. So that was step two. And I thought that was gonna take 3 or 4 months and ended up taking almost 2 years.
2 years?
2 years to get the formula right.
Holy gosh.
Because it was to get it to taste right, to get the consistency right, to get the color right. There was a lot more science that went into that than I initially anticipated.
And how much did all that cost?
By the end of it all, it was pushing 6 figures.
Wow.
To get it off of the ground.
Just to get it started.
To get the food science going, and then you have to order your packaging, you got to do all your branding, we have to do trademarks, which I made a lot of mistakes we could talk about. Went through 5 or 6 different brand names before we finally got one that was trademarkable.
What was some of the other brand names?
The original brand name was called Be Strong.
Oh, yes, I remember.
It was a logo with 2 lions. It looked like a cheap Red Bull knockoff. I'm embarrassed looking back at it now.
No, it's good. How'd you land on Rviita?
Yeah, so after we went through the Be Strong debacle, I spent probably 10 grand on, I had a can design, I had logos, I had the business cards made and everything. And my father one day is looking at it and he's like, did you do a trademark search on this? And I said, what's a trademark?
Oh no.
So I went to a trademark lawyer, and of course he does a search, and be strong, common word, strong, it was taken. We would have had a cease and desist letter within a week.
Yeah.
So then we went back to the drawing board and started to think about, what do we want the brand to be about? It's like local laundry, right? Like you guys are about serving the community and doing good. Well, for us, I wanted to help people feel better. And a word that I thought really captured that was the word revitalize. To give people, to imbue with new life and vitality. That's the definition of revitalize. I was like, wow, that's a beautiful word. Well, we can't trademark revitalize, that's taken. What if we shorten it to Rviita, R-E-V-I-T-A? Turns out that's like a shampoo company or something. Like, well, what else could we do that's unique? Well, I always like two eyes next to each other.
Yeah.
It symbolizes like two people standing next to each other, family values. Why don't we shorten revitalize to Rviita, but put two eyes in the middle? That's the long-winded answer to how we landed on the name that we have today.
It's a great name.
Thank you.
I love it. That's why it's my vitamin R.
Your vitamin R, man.
Okay, so we had the idea, we get the food tester, we get the trademark, we get all these steps, and then what?
Yeah. So
like, do you just make it and then go sell it, or are you like selling along the process? Like, do you just have a bunch of inventory and then you go sell it, or tell me?
Great questions. Yeah. So step one is you got to figure out what your product is going to be, and that's a long process. Step two is you find a food scientist that's going to create a commercially viable formula for you, because you can't just go buy honey from your grocery store and expect to use that in your final drink formula.
Right.
You have to have suppliers that can supply it at bulk, that type of thing. And then once you have a production formula, then you can try to find a manufacturer that can make it for you. So that's step three. Is I was cold calling all these manufacturers, hey, can you make this drink for me? And we wanted to do the pouch for a number of reasons. It stands out, it's low carbon footprint, environmentally friendly. So I had a very limited number of manufacturers that could do it. So I found one, and then the next step is to place an order with them. Usually the minimum orders are very high. You order the product, in my case, they shipped it to my house.
Oh my gosh.
So I had pallets of product in my garage, my living room. I think you've maybe seen some of the pictures. We got rid of all the furniture on the main floor of my house and just loaded it up, hand-bombed product in from a pallet that was dropped off in my front yard. And there's our inventory. And then we opened a Shopify store and just went at it, very similar to what you did with local laundry.
Wow. And so how did that process go? You open up day one, ready to sell. How'd it go?
Yeah, so we did a crowdfunding campaign it was called ATV Booster.
Oh yeah,
which doesn't even exist anymore, but it's kind of like a local Kickstarter for Alberta here. So we did some pre-sales through that, which was pretty much, my mom and a few friends, right? But at least it got us going. And I had no sales background, no marketing background.
Right.
I'm an engineer. I'm a socially awkward engineer. So I had to figure this all out.
And you were working full-time
Working full-time still when we first launched. I quit shortly after that. But I was going into supplement stores and grocery stores with this box of, my energy tea and pouches that nobody knew about, asking for the grocery manager, and it was basically cold sales. Same with our online business. We were just sending messages on Instagram, getting people to try it. Started an Instagram and Facebook page, and it was real grassroots marketing. Everything was kind of thrown together, and we were just trying to get the word out there.
Well, it something worked, because you're still here 4 years later, you're still kicking, and you've grown. What do you think it was that really connected with people that led to your success?
Yeah, great. I think it's two things. One is, I think our intentions are in the right place.
Yeah.
Same with local laundry. We really want to help people. And when we put the brand together and we put the product together, it was with the intention of really helping people feel better with the product, right? Like we use all really clean, great ingredients, so people would drink it and then they would feel better. They'd get that vitamin R effect. So I think that, even though our brand initially was a little bit crude and our website was difficult to navigate initially, and we didn't really know what we're doing, because we cared so much about our customer, I think that's how we've been able to grow the brand. And then two, we just didn't quit, because there's been a ton of setbacks, a ton of challenges, just like you guys have faced. But I think that's the most important entrepreneurial skill, is perseverance.
Absolutely. It's just fighting through and
fighting through, right? Yeah. Because there has been 1,000 times where we've come up against a big roadblock where we're like, I don't know if we could make it through this, but you just keep pushing and you push through, you get to the next challenge, and then the next challenge, and the next challenge, and you just keep going.
What was your biggest roadblock in the early years, like year 1, year 2?
Yeah, so about a year and a half into the business, we faced a massive change in our business model, a massive challenge. We were using a manufacturer, and we had some challenges, and we more or less outgrew them, and we got to a point where we didn't know if they were even going to supply product for us anymore. So here we are a year and a half in, and we don't know if we can even get our product made anymore. So I flew out to Ontario to meet with manufacturers. I flew down to the States and talked to manufacturers down there, and nobody could do it. Like, no one could just like ship them our ingredients and they could do it. There's a couple that said, if you buy me a filling machine, which costs between $500,000 and $1 million, then we'll make it for you. So here we are a year in, have no money, we're not profitable yet, and we can't even get our product made anymore. And so we had to make this crazy decision that now, not only we were going to be basically a marketing company selling these beverages, but we were going to have to build our own manufacturing line to make the product because our packaging is so unique and we couldn't get the product made by anybody else. So that was a massive change because now we had to raise money, get debt, figure out manufacturing. It was a complete pivot with the way that we thought we were going to run the business long term.
Holy smokes. But now you're battle hardened, you've been through the
ringer.
Yeah. You are definitely a connoisseur in the beverage space now. Let me ask you, where can people find you if they want to go support Rviita?
Yeah, thanks, Connor. You can find us at Rviita.com. That's spelled RVIITA.com. We're also on Amazon, and you can find us in about 1,200 stores across Canada, Safeway, Sobeys, Superstore, a number of independent convenience stores, and of course on Instagram and LinkedIn.
Thanks for coming on, Mitch. Really appreciate you.
Connor,
especially
it's an honor, man. Thank you.
Bringing that delicious vitamin R.
The vitamin R.
Rviita. Thanks, buddy.
Appreciate you, man.
Thanks so much for watching the Courage Chronicles. If you want to find out more information, click that big old link down below, or check out YYC Calgary Business, or you can even check out our clothing company, localhonorary.ca. Thanks so much. Hope you have a great day. Bye for now.